What is the best time of year to plant my plants? Well, for woody perennials, that's crops, things that come back year after year that have a woody stem that go dormant. The best time to plant is generally in the fall, and it depends a little bit on a number of factors like how well is the plant established. And if it's not established very well, if you just propagated it, you might need to put it in a greenhouse. But generally speaking, for a well-established potted plant, the best time to put it in the ground is in the fall, especially in upstate South Carolina where we are at the Seneca Treehouse, because if you think about it, if it's a pot that's sitting out, it's going to get colder and do less growing throughout the winter than if it's in the ground, because the ground temperature usually stays in like you go deep enough, it's 55 degrees year round, but our ground temperature here is up in like the 40s. And depending on the depth of the pot and the location and the slope and the number of things, you'll have a lot of root growth and development throughout the winter time that you may not get if it's in the pot. Of course, you might still get some root growth in the pot, but if you put it in the ground, you'll set the plant up for success in the springtime. And do you need to irrigate throughout the fall and the winter? If depending on the earthworks and how often it rains, but generally speaking, where we are, you don't need to irrigate very much, especially once it starts freezing outside. You can do a lot of damage to your irrigation by trying to irrigate throughout the winter. So you could plant throughout the winter too if you wanted to. The only time you really can't plant is when the ground is frozen. And if you plant in the spring, that's another good time, but you'll want to set up irrigation. And you could plant mid-summer in the heat of the summer, but you're definitely going to need irrigation at that point. And you're also going to want to consider protecting the plant a little bit. If it's a young tree or young plant out in direct sunlight, you might have some disease and some stunting of growth. So if you have other trees planted, I always recommend starting off with pioneering species, things like nitrogen fixing. I love the black locust tree because it has a really sparse canopy, meaning the sunlight can come through and get to the younger trees, but it's not full direct hot sunlight. Also, the black locust is a great nitrogen fixer. It's great for the bees. It does spread through suckers, so you'll have some other black locusts shooting up in different places. But you can just chop those, or you can use those for something. And the wood is really great for an for fence posts and barn posts and things to bury in the ground. So I want to show you around some of the plants that we have now, and talk about some of the plants that we're going to have in the future. I'll show you what we have in the nursery, and then I'll show you a couple of plants that we have planted here that are mature at the Seneca Treehouse. All right, so real quick here, we have some brown turkey figs here, some fuzzy kiwis. We have elderberries here. We make elderberry syrup. There are, let me step in here. These are the elderberries here. This is comfrey. This is a dynamic accumulator. It's a great mulch crop. You want to plant these around your fruit trees so you can chop and drop the leaves. They're also really pretty. Those are sweet potatoes there, getting started for next spring. We have a lot of hazelnuts. These hazelnuts look a little rough, but we've got a lot more of them that look better. We have one apple tree, some iris. Those bananas I think we're going to plant here. There's a lot of bee balm back there. It's a great, pretty flower, and the bees love it. You can do some medicinal. It's a mint in the mint family, so you can use it for medicine and salves too. That's a stinging nettle. We're going to divide that one up, and that's great. It stings you, but it is a good food source too. And you can make tinctures, and you can boil it and cook it and eat it. This is a che berry, Chinese mulberry, new to our nursery. This was we purchased this from a gentleman in Greenville, A+ Nursery, and these they call a strawberry tree, or Chinese mulberry, or che berry. Jasmine, And then these are some more of those iris. I like the iris. They're really pretty. They're tall. Got an orange flower. Oh, we had some grapes back there too. I'll show you this kiwi here real quick. And you know, one thing about it is you're planting. A lot of people plant a garden, you know, annual vegetables every year, and that's great. It produces a lot of food. But you have to do that kind of year after year unless you set it up to reseed. But you really want to plan for the future of, you know, building in food security to your home, and thinking about what, you know, where you're going to get your groceries if something like COVID happens again or worse. And you know, when COVID happened, all of our elderberries sold out so quickly. But you know, COVID was there and people were just now starting to plant elderberries. And it was a good awakening, but really by the time those elderberries are in the ground, mature and flowering and producing enough to actually create syrup, COVID's going to be, you know, old news. So same thing with nuts, like plant nuts, plant a diversity of things that produce roots and things that climb like vines. And like here's our kiwis. This is the fuzzy kiwi. You buy these for like, it's like, I forget what they are. I think they're almost like $1 a piece in the grocery store or something. 75 cents a piece sometimes. And you know, here are hundreds of them. And it's growing all over us here. Plenty of them. Now it takes 8 years to mature. So you can't just pop a kiwi in the ground and get fruit off it next year. You got to really plan for it. You got to build a structure that it can support the kiwi vine. About patience. This is hardy citrus. This is a yuzu here. There's another hardy citrus. Asian persimmons, we'll have some more of those next year. These are our fig trees. We have some pawpaws that we've planted. We'll see if we can get some seeds from those and have some more of those. We just ordered some pawpaws too, they'll be coming in. Those are the Asian persimmons over there. They're a really pretty tree, nice fall colors. The colors are changing late out here because we're on a peninsula. And then, let's see, I don't know if you can see it from here. There's the earth dome, but right above the earth dome is a black locust. It's got a bunch of bean pods on it right now, but nitrogen fixing trees, good for the soil, good for the surrounding fruits. And we have a ton of hazelnuts too. So hazelnut's actually a bush. It's like a big bush, multi-stemmed. Here's one of the hazelnuts. Ouch, just hit my head. There's a hazelnut here. Oh, actually, yeah, we did get some hazelnuts off of this one this year. That's right. And we have 4 or 5 different hazelnuts. There's another one over there with the yellow leaves on it. Sorry for all the junk sitting around. But and there's a ginormous one right there. That one's probably like 14 feet tall or so. So great plants to have around, building diversity. And we're walking on food right now. This is shiso gone to seed. These are annuals. There's creeping Charlie, there's edible mint family. There's mushroom logs. Anyway, build it. Create some more resilience for yourself, your family, your community. And it's also great for your kids too. You know, my kids go out, and my 2-year-old son, Miles and Abel, they're both like, kiwi? They just run out and they're looking for kiwis and they love it. They'll find them on the ground and they'll eat them. It's a great source of vitamin C. And there's just a lot of enjoyment in it too, beyond the basic necessity. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions about any of the plants or anything at all plant permaculture related. I'm glad to help, and you feel free to reach out to us if we can do anything to help y'all out. Y'all take care, and thanks for hanging out.